Now, SEOs client side, they go through a lot of battles trying to get a budget to, let's say, hire an agency to support them. And I find that there is usually this period where they receive a strategy, let's say content strategy for organic, and they're then left with this period of time where they're trying to convince certain departments to actually implement the strategy, because SEO, it requires more than SEOs to actually work, right? The implementation becomes an uphill battle internally. What would you say to an SEO who's client side on how to go navigate that terrain to actually have things implemented?
It's the $1 million question, right? um, so, in all honesty, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that because a lot of my experience is agency side. However, I have seen those challenges client side, and I think this is about playing that politic game of understanding who the budget holders and stakeholders are that you need to convince, being clear with your value case. So SEO is notoriously hard, obviously, to forecast because the quickest way I found to get things done internally in large companies is to have the spreadsheet showing them how much money they're going to make when they invest. And lots of people are rightly afraid to do that with SEO because there are so many factors outside of your control, apart from the updates Google is slinging out. Even if that was static, you've got competitors that are doing things which all, affect how you will land. One thing I found that is helpful is demonstrating at least like a size of prize. So looking at what is a realistic maximum potential traffic we could reach. And then depending on your company, there's several ways you can translate that into a kind of pounds or dollars figure to at least get some attention. Say, this is the value that we haven't realized yet, that if we invest in SEO is a path that we can actually get on. And then having a kind of long-term, I guess, strategy to promote SEO internally. And there's all kinds of ways, depending on how people you're working with are themselves kind of measured on performance, that they can you can get them to do SEO as part of their role. So the classic example is maybe kind of like people writing for newspapers and stuff when they realized, oh, actually, if I do this little bit of research and we optimize it, I'm essentially getting judged on how many eyeballs I'm bringing in, because that's what drives our ad revenue. And if I make sure these are optimized for the questions people are searching for, I get to, it's just kind of free money, for me, and it's going to make me look good. So I think having people understand why SEO is beneficial for them and why it's, not just another thing on their plate that's easy for them to ignore. But, it will depend company to company, but I think showing the end prize, making sure you're communicating with the right stakeholders, and then having a longer term plan to kind of be a champion for it internally. Internal training is something as well that's really helped. So with some of our larger clients, we've run a few dozen training sessions for different teams, just basically about what SEO is and how they can contribute. And once people understand it and realize it's actually sometimes not that much extra effort from what they're doing, you start to get that momentum and see change.